Hi, I'm Susie Dills, and I'm part of the Lorain County Community College Small Business Development Center team of advisors. And my specialty area is accounting, record keeping, cash flow analysis, projection, and budgeting. And today we're going to talk about another great software, QuickBooks, but we're going to talk about the desktop version. So with QuickBooks Desktop, once you purchase your desktop version, you're going to get an online download to set up this accounting software on your laptop or your workstation. And once you've completed that, once again, they're going to give you a generic chart of accounts based on the information that you supply to them. So when you open up the front page of QuickBooks, it's going to look like this. A lot different than Wave Apps. Remember, Wave Apps was simpler, it wasn't quite as robust, but this software is going to offer you a lot of options. So there are a lot of options with QuickBooks Online. You could get a self-employed version where it's going to look very similar to Wave Apps, very simple, and then you could step it on up with a lot of different options. But we're going to look at the desktop version today because I just want to show you how robust this is and the information that you can have set up and that you are able to look at with a software like QuickBooks Desktop. So we'll just go through some of the options here. I'm not going to go through everything. You'll certainly have a tutorial to help you through all of these. Once again, with your free one-on-one, we can set up your chart of accounts, we can customize it to your business, and we can go through the tabs and practice some transactions, and we can just go through what some of the reports are. So I just want to give you that quick overview today of some of the options and how really robust this software is. So you're going to see, like I said, lots of options here. We're going to go over here to company. So really, you can look at a company snapshot, which is really great. It's going to give you all kinds of graphs, sort of like your dashboard page. And then where you've set up all your company preferences. Once again, that's something that can be, you can walk through with a one-on-one session. And then you'll notice down here, look at this, you'll see chart of accounts. So I'm just going to open this up just so you can get an idea. This is a business, this is a more robust business. Look at all the asset accounts. You can see anything that starts with a number 1. These are all assets. So this would be the categories that you would record keep, you would put your transactions into. And then you could see all the number 2s would be your liabilities. Number 3s would be equity. And by the way, as you might imagine, accountants love numbers. So not only do we organize the chart of accounts with your bucket names, your account names, but we also categorize by numbers those different categories to make it even more organized. So 4s would be your revenue, 5s would be costs of goods sold, 6 would be any of your general and admin. But look at all of these different categories that were set up for this type of business. And then you have other income, other expense. So you have a lot of options here with this business. With QuickBooks Desktop, you're going to have a much more robust chart of accounts. And under this tab company, you can also make your own manual general ledger entries where you make your own debit and credit entry. My clients very rarely use that, and generally I'll help them through that process. The customers, this is very similar to what we talked about with Wave Apps. This is where you're going to customize, create an invoice. This is where you're going to have your customer center, your customer list, all your products and services. That'll all be set up through this tab. Vendors, this would be who you're going to owe money to. You're going to enter all your bills in under this section of that tab, and you're going to have your vendors already populated in with addresses, because what's great about QuickBooks Desktop, you can actually cut your checks right through your software. So not only are you accumulating that information on your liabilities, what you owe to that vendor, and you're able to track that and make timely payments, but you can also cut your checks right through the software, and it'll take care of all of those accounting transactions by you following the tabs to make all those payments and record everything properly on your books. So you can actually just print out your checks right from your software. Employees, you can do payroll through QuickBooks. Also, banking provides you with the ability to reconcile. You can see your register of all your transactions. You can actually make your deposits, make checks if you're not cutting them through your software. So there's just a multitude of options here, but this would be related to anything going through your bank account, any of those banking transactions, so that you can properly reconcile every month right on the software. So you're able to do that checks and balances right within your software. So this is really a great package. They have set up reconciliation on Wave Apps. I've looked at it. I'm going to try to use it for my companies because I want to see if it's a nice simplified process. But with QuickBooks, it is really a great way to do that checks and balances on your bank account. And then with your reports tab, you can see you have so many options with this tab. But when I work with clients and they're on QuickBooks Desktop, we spend a lot of time in that reports tab, because this is going to be the accumulation of all those transactions populating into your reports, and this is where you want to look to make your important decisions. So you can go into customers and receivables. This is a great report if you have if you invoice customers. This accounts receivable aging, remember that's services you provided, that money belongs to you, but you can see it's going to give you current 1 to 30, 31 to 60. So a great look if you have any customers that are delinquent. You can get on the phone, you can give them a call, you can email them, just reach out. When do you think you're able to make your payment? Just so you have an idea, because you may be relying on that physical cash to pay expenses. So how important all your reports are. You can go down to vendors and payables. You could look at your accounts payable summary. And this is going to give you the vendors that you owe money to. It's going to tell you, do I have to pay these folks right now? Here's a 1 to 30. I would look into why this bill hasn't been paid yet. Maybe there was a discrepancy, but most of your other bills are current. But just helps you and also gives you due dates also if you drill in further to each vendor. So lots of great information with those reports. We'll go back to company financials. Let's just dive into the profit and loss summary. And you can go up here to the date section, look at all your options. Well, I want to look at this fiscal year, so it's going to give me everything for that particular fiscal year. Look at your breakdowns for your income accounts. Look at your cost of goods sold. Remember we talked about gross profit? This is great to see a positive number here, but this is going to drive how are you going to handle. Look at all of these other expenses related to your business. So when it comes down to your bottom line, $113,000 after you get through paying all those general and administrative expenses. So just a great overall look. you can head on up here to where you have columns. I can look at it by the month, but look at the information this provides to you. What are your trends? You can look at your bottom line for each month. Are there certain months that are better than others? Do you spend more money in certain months? This gives you a lot to look at. So you can spend a lot of time just analyzing and being strategic about sales, expenses, marketing, so on and so forth. And then it also gives you a profit and loss detail. This is going to show you every single transaction you made into every account on your ledger. And let's take a look at our balance sheet. We talked about this is that snapshot. Here's our total assets. This is what we have. And then if we head on down here, let's see where our liabilities are at. $420,000. So if I was an investor or a banker and I picked up your balance sheet, one of the first things I would do is I would look to see where you're at with your assets. Do you have more than you owe? And of course, in this example, we do. And then also, are you retaining any of that in the business? So very, very important. But boy, once again, this gives you that snapshot. Look at all the loans you have for vehicles. It gives you an idea what you owe for each one of those. Also your furniture and equipment. So nice snapshot report. But you've populated all that information in there by making your transactions. And then I'll go back to company and financial. Another great thing about QuickBooks, when you get to the more robust versions, you can also class transactions. So you might have, well, I have design, income, revenue, but look at how much further I can break it out. I can look at new construction, I can look at remodel, same with any of your other designated income accounts. So you can further break down and analyze your numbers. And this is all part of when you make your transaction, you just put it into the class that you set up where that transaction would be placed. So you can see you have a lot of options with QuickBooks Desktop or more robust version of QuickBooks Online. And then the last, one of my favorites is budgeting. All of my clients, we work on budgets every year, so you can set up your budget for next year right within your QuickBooks, and then every month you can do an analysis. So at the end of this coming year, a lot of my clients will be entering their budget numbers for next year. We'll put it right into the software, and then every month we can go in and do an analysis. So you can see, and I'm just gonna total it for the year so we get a nice snapshot on our screen here. So this is for the entire year. This is the actual numbers, and this is how we budgeted. So you can see, subcontracted labor income. Hey, that was down. So you can figure out what happened here. And look at labor income, how much higher it is. So you can just right away start doing a lot of analysis with that actual record keeping to your budgeted numbers. It raises a lot of questions, and it really helps you with that strategy. So we're going to go down to the bottom line. This is what actually happened. We were budgeting 94, so we actually did better than what we envisioned for the business for this year. So, but if we came down to a negative, you'd really want to be diving into these numbers to see where the discrepancies were, what caused that variance. But just a great tool, once again, for strategy and just successful business. So those are some of the really important reports that I use, a lot of my clients use, but you can see you have a lot of options here with this type of software. And to schedule a free counseling appointment at the Small Business Development Center, just call 440-366-4370.